some of you that don't know me, my name is Terry Mayhew. I pastor United Methodist Church here in town. Jeff was planning this service and he wanted me to give my testimony of how I came to be here. Now Jeff, I told Jeff earlier that if I went too long, him and Deb had to adjust because I was first. In United Methodist Church, we're appointed by the bishop and the cabinet to different churches on a yearly basis. And May 2nd, 2007, I was in Wichita. On my way home, stopped in Pratt at the Quick Shop. Was leaving there, pulling out, and my phone rang. It's not a good sign when it's the district superintendent. And he said, I cannot give you the formal invitation today, but I want to give you a heads up that we want you to move to Greensburg. That was out of the blue because just a couple months before he had said, you don't have to worry about moving. I said, you know, this is not going to go well with my wife. Our daughter is getting married in August in Plains, and so we wanted to be there, and we're planning on being there. But I'll talk to her when I get home. She knew he had called because he had called her to get my phone number. She wanted to know what he wanted, and I told her. We had a long talk. And he called me back on May 3rd, and he said, this is the formal invitation. Do know that the bishop can move you whether you say yes or not. So I said, well, we will move if we can move September 1st. He said, well, let me see what I can do. He came over, he met with the pastor parish committee here at the church. He talked to the bishop. He said, and he told me, I'll call you back tomorrow, which would have been May 4th. All day long I was anticipating this call, and it didn't come and it didn't come. And he called me about 9:40 that evening. He said, in a little small talk, and he said, I'm watching the weather. My wife's driving to Pratt to work, and I'm watching the weather. It's pretty bad over around Greensburg. At the moment that he told me that I was moving to Greensburg was about the time the tornado was coming through Greensburg, 9:45. I said, all right, we'll start making plans. We knew nothing of this. I got up Saturday morning. Marion, our daughter, and her future mother-in-law were going to Jewel to shower. I ran down to the donut shop to get some rolls for breakfast, and all this chatter in there about Greensburg. And I looked down at the newspaper that was laying there, and it said 65% of Greensburg destroyed. And my heart just sunk. Had no idea what this meant for us. They went to Jewel that day. We can't talk about our appointments before they're announced. She couldn't talk to our daughter and future mother-in-law about what was going on. We went to church on Sunday, Plains and Kismet. They were talking about Greensburg, and, well, what's going to happen? They're probably not going to rebuild. And there was a little bit of me saying, what's going to happen to me? Because I don't know what this means. Tuesday, I went to a pastor's group, a consultation group, confidential group, and I decided, you know, if there's one time you can talk about your appointment before it's announced, it's today. And we talked about this quite a while in my group, and when we got done, they said, the other pastors said, Terry, this is where you need to be. This is where you want to be. And in my heart, I thought, I want to be here. The thing that was hard was I couldn't be here full time until September. But I made trips back and forth. I brought a team over here on May 31st. Greensburg didn't know I was coming here. My church didn't know I was moving, but I brought people from my church to Greensburg to tear down the parsonage and haul it to the street so it could be hauled off. We get back home that evening. I rode with the guys was on the PPR. He said, "I'll see you tomorrow evening." I guess we're having a PPR meeting. I come over here on June 1st at noon, Mary and I. We had an intro meeting in a tent with the rain, with the blowing cold. Went back home and had a PPR meeting, and they told my churches I was moving. From then on, I came about once a week to meet with the building committee and start making plans. And I saw a church of people that was determined, that God was with. I read Jeff's book the other day. He talked about Psalm 91, and I thought back to how many times I'd read that Psalm 91 during those times. I can't say I know what you went through, but I know when I got here, it was just about once a week we needed to leave town just to lift the heaviness that we felt. And we've seen God at work in this. And as I've looked back on my ministry, one of the things that stands out to me is every community that I've been to, every church I've went to, there's been something going on that was tough. And I thought about Esther. And I thought about her conversation with Mordecai. When Mordecai said to her, "You're here for such a time as this." And that's what I've felt about Greensburg. That I've been here for such a time as this. I have been blessed beyond blessings in my time here. God has done an amazing thing. And I thank God for every one of you and what you've done to be a part of it. So always remember, sometimes God puts you where He wants you for such a time as this. Hang in there. Walk with Jesus.